Pope's Exorcist stars Russel Crowe as Father Gabrielle Amorth as he investigates through this possession case involving a kid. Now, when I heard about this movie for the first time, I feel like, we have seen a lot of exorcism movies. We don't need a lot of them anymore. But they decided to make it. So, how do I think about it? Well, there is a really good aspect about this. But there are also some bad things sprinkled in this movie. So, let's first start with the performance from Russel Crowe as Father Gabrielle Amorth. I wasn't expecting the comedic tone that he was going for with this character. I thought he was going to be stoic priest because that's what normal priests do, right? They don't joke a lot, but this priest is different. He makes around the fight to be a little bit lighter for this desperate family in this desperate situation, and I really like that. But if the movie needs to get serious, the character also gets serious, including Father Gabrielle Amorth. So there's also this balancing between these two tones, the comedic tones and the serious tones, and Russel Crowe performs these two tones properly. It is brilliant. This cast choice of Russel Crowe as Father Gabrielle Amorth is really brilliant, and he plays the role convincing enough as a priest. Now, I do like the premise, how simple the premise is for this film. It's just an exorcism movie. You have seen this thousands of times, and you have predicted how things are going to go, and they go exactly as you thought it would be, as the story would progress. And there's actually nothing really new about this movie. There's nothing this movie invents. It is just a mix of every genres, like the Conjuring movies, the Insidious movies. The inspirations from these movies are clearly present in the Pope's Exorcist, and I don't mean it to be a really bad thing, but you should invent something new, something that hasn't been there before in an exorcism movie to present to your audience, to make them engaged a little bit, to make them still interested in the story. Now, the second positive that I'm going to get into is the lack of jump scares. Now, most of people may see this as a weakness because, you know what, right? Modern horror movies are usually full of jump scares. But this movie did something drastically different from all of these movies, and that is use as minimal jump scares as it can be, It is still effective to scare somebody with a jump scare. If you're overdoing it, it will get stale. And thank God this movie didn't do that. This movie is not overload in the jump scare aspect. This movie prioritized the story more than the jump scare. And it sometimes decreases the fear factor of this movie, but I guess, there's something to be paid here. To get a better story, you must sacrifice something. And the thing that they are sacrificing here is the lack of jump scare. Now, don't get me wrong. There is one jump scare in the movie that I won't spoil, and it is still effective as a jump scare. But I'm not gonna lie, this movie sometimes really doesn't make me scared as I watch like the Insidious movies, the Conjuring movies. The Conjuring movies is way scarier than this film, but you need to understand, their focus is not on the fear factor alone. Now, let's talk about the demon that is really possessing this kid. The name is Asmodeus, and if you Google it, it actually exists, right? But in the movie, they don't explain about it too much, they just read it and try to find some name for the evil, and they leave it alone, And for the narrative, I was expecting a lot more for this demon. And all they did was an exposition, And that is the third problem that I found with this movie, and that is the exposition problem. This movie is overloaded with exposition, and I don't like it. Now, if you want to really tell us about this demon, you better show us something. I don't know, through a flashback, besides just exposition. Because sometimes, if exposition is not done properly, it can drag the pacing of the movie down. And yes, it did in this movie. All of this, 25% of the movie was exposition, and I really didn't enjoy these segments that are peppered in this movie. I think if you're trying to introduce a demon, then make it interesting, through his presence of something. Make it iconic. But this movie didn't really do that. Now, I do like about what the demon affects, how the demon affects this kid. This kid gets worse every time. This kid gets worse as the movie kept going, and I really like that. It adds a little bit of realism in this movie. You have to see the kid's transformation from pretty okay to the worst transformation, and I really like that step. So, the Pope's Exorcist. I think it is an okay movie. There is a good thing about it that I've mentioned. There are a little bit of aspects that I don't agree with, but it is probably still an okay movie. It is surprisingly decent. And now, the Pope's Exorcist has been greenlit for the sequel this fast. And my hope for the sequel is increase the figure factor, not by jump scare, not by overdoing jump scare. They just slip the jump scares there to scare some people and affects you in some way so that jump scare is more effective than it is. And please, for the second one, explain the backstory of the demons that you're fighting so the audience can know what you are against. Because in this movie, the demon is kind of sidelined. It focuses on the family aspect more than the demon. And yeah, I do still like the movie. So yeah, this is a surprisingly decent movie. 7 out of 10. And see you on the next video, guys. Also tell me, what are your hopes for a sequel to The Pope's Exorcist? Are you even excited for the sequel, or this is a one-off movie for you? So that's my question. Answer it in the comments. See you in the next video.